If the Montreal Canadiens rebuild, this is who I think remains a Hab. I'll also give you my 3 untouchables. Hey, everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talkin' Habs. We get your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge. So, as we all know, Montreal will be announcing sometime soon whether they're going to be retooling this team, resetting this team, or rebuilding this team. They're also going to announce a new GM, and should be somewhere around the same time. So I'm really thinking that they brought in Jeff Gordon to rebuild this team. He's known for that. He's known to be somebody who can do that, and I think that we're fooling ourselves. We think that next year they're going to be right back in the race and everything. They're going to rebuild this team. So I've done a video about who I think would be on the trading block if they do that, and you can check that out. That is out there. It'll be also at the end of this video. This is my video on who do I think will stay. The one thing you'll notice, the other video has the ages, is they're all older, and here they're mostly younger guys. They're all young guys, and yeah, let's get right into it. So this is who I think they'll be keeping. It's a possibility some of these guys might be put into packages to get first round picks and stuff like that, but I don't know. So these are the guys I would like to keep. First off, so I can stop babbling, is everybody knows this is my is an untouchable. I think it's for everybody, or pretty much everybody. There's a few that don't like him. Nick Suzuki, he's 22 years old. He just signed an extension that kicks in next year, 8 years, I want to say 875 million for 8 years. He is a leader. He's a letterman, so he's wearing an A right now. I think he's the future captain of this team. He is a number 1 or a number 2 center. Definitely no worse than a number 2 center, but I think he has potential to be a number 1 center. He plays a 200-foot game. He's smart. He has great vision, anticipation. He has high hockey IQ. I mean, I could do this whole video talking about Nick Suzuki, but I think he's an untouchable, right? I mean, everybody would agree with that. So Nick Suzuki, definitely untouchable, and he'll be here. Next up is another untouchable for me, and that is Alex Romanov in his Panda shirt. He's 21 years old. He is at he's going to be an RFA going into next season. I don't expect that he won't sign here, or they don't want to sign him. He's a top 4 defenseman for sure. Potential. I think he's potentially also could be the top 2. He can give you that 30-minute stud kind of game. You know, in a big game, in a playoff game, this guy can play. Maybe not right this minute, but he will grow into that. And so that's why I don't know if he's a top 2 or top 4. Definitely top 4. The hits, the incredible hits. He's a 6 foot. I don't know if he's 6'1" now, but he's 6 foot, just over 200 pounds. He hits like he's 6'10" and 300 pounds. He hits like a truck, and open ice hits along the board everywhere. It doesn't matter. He hits. And I really like this guy. He's a fan favorite already, and I think he remains, and for me, like I said, an untouchable. Subscribe and ring that notifications bell, and hey, give a thumbs up. Next up, Ryan Poehling, 23 years old. He just did turn 23 2 days ago, I think. Ryan Poehling. I think Ryan Poehling is third-line center or a power forward on the left side. He's a solid middle 6 guy. I don't know that he's a first-line guy, and I don't know that he could be a second-line center. Maybe he can grow into that. He's just getting his legs in the NHL. I do believe he is an NHLer now. I don't think he'll go back to the AHL. He seems to have the right mental outlook, and just the way he's playing the game is different, and he's an NHLer. So I think they hang on to him. He's not an untouchable for me, but I mean, I think they hang on to him, and he goes forward with this young group of guys that are going to grow together. Next up, Cole Caufield, 21 years old, and he just turned 21 just the other day, the day before Ryan Poehling. Cole Caufield, I didn't put him here as an untouchable. I actually think there's a possibility he could get traded. If he had come out this season and been gangbusters, scoring goals, a different story, but like everybody else, it's been shit. I mean, there's no other way to say it. So I don't put him as an untouchable, but I think you got to take into account that it's just a shitty year. I mean, it's not unlikely, or it's not weird that he's having a shitty season. So, but could I see them packaging him to get a first-round pick or to move up in the draft? I could see Gordon doing that. So he's not an untouchable, but I think he stays a Hab. Next up is a guy that I personally would put as an untouchable for personal reasons. Raphael Harvey-Pinard. He's 22 years old. He was drafted in the 7th round. And I was incredulous when I heard that he was the 7th round draft pick. I thought he would go higher than that. I think the kid's a pretty good talent. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar, star forward, maybe not a top 6 guy, but yeah, I just think he's going to be a really good, solid NHLer that smart. He's sneaky good. And I mean, like, he gets in there to score. Like, he gets in there and you don't out of nowhere. That's what I noticed when he was in the Memorial Cup. That's where I first saw this kid. I really like this kid. And I think he's like Artturi Lehkonen with offense. He plays a 200-foot game. He's smart, and he can score. He's scored like in every level that he's played in, and I think he'll, moderately score here in the NHL. So Raphael Harvey-Pinard, I think he's a keeper. Next up is Kaiden Primo, 22 years old, also a 7th round pick. He has number 1 goalie potential. Very Carey Price-like. Positionally solid, tracks the puck well when he's playing well, and he's not nervous and all that. But I think he's got really good potential to replace Price as our number 1 goalie in the next few years. I don't think he's ready just yet. He's got great pedigree. His father was Keith Primo, so he's got NHL pedigree. Yeah, I think with the goalies that are in the system, you got to be moving forward in a rebuild with Primo, I think. Next up, and this guy I think is another untouchable. He's not in the even in the AHL yet, but Kaiden Guhle. He's 19. He's kind of on the fast track. He was the captain of Team Canada before they canceled the World Junior Championship. I see this guy. He's not Shea Weber, but he's a Shea Weber type. He's big, got that mean streak to him, can hit, likes to hit. And he's got that kind of game. He's got some offense to him. I don't know if he's got Weber's shot, but I just see him in that mold. I think he's a keeper, and he's an untouchable for me. I want to see what he can do here. I think he can give you that 30-minute stud defenseman that you need to win championships, and potential number 1 or 2 defensemen. Top 4 for sure. Next up, Jesse Ylonen. Jesse Ylonen, he's 22. He finally got to play here after a lot of expectation, looking pretty good. Responsible defensively. He's got offensive upside. He's got good size. He's not small. He's got good skill. I think Ylonen is a guy that, you can move a guy like Armia, because you have a guy like Ylonen to come in and pretty much do that job. So I think, you move forward a guy like Ylonen. In the last few games, I did a video about how impressed I was on some of these guys. He's one of those guys that I came up and did a good job. And I think, you can make some moves and have these young guys fill the spots. Those are the top 8 guys. Of the young guys, I think are the kind of the core right now going forward. And anyway, you can let me know if you disagree with that. Now, I would keep other guys. I would keep Josh Anderson. Power horse, that's what he's called. Speed, big guy, speed. He's a power forward. He's got the size and toughness. Will fight. He's only 27. I should be putting myself on it. Yeah, he's got 5 years left on the deal. I think that's pretty good money. I think you keep a guy like that for these young guys. The size is really important, and the speed, and that goes to the kind of game that I think Gorton likes to have his team play. So I think he stays here. Next guy I think stays is Artturi Lehkonen. He's 26 years old. He'll be an RFA at the end of the year. He's got that 200-foot game. He is smart defensively. He's, I think he's pretty good offensively, can't pull the trigger. That's his biggest problem. So, like I said, I think Raphael Harvey-Pinard is a little better at that. But, having these two guys on, maybe one cancels out the other. I don't know. But I would keep Lehkonen around. And you need guys like Lecky if you want to win cups. You need more than one. So, like, you have two in RHP and Lecky. You need these kind of guys to win cups because there's defense to be played too. Okay, next up. I had him as an honorable mention. He's a young guy. I'm not sure yet with him, but I think he's got great potential as a puck mover. Mattias Norlinder, 21 years old. He's playing back in Sweden right now. He had a bit of a chance here. I don't think he was comfortable here yet. He does want to come back and all that. I know people think that he doesn't. He did want to go back to Sweden. He did. But he has said he wants to come back next year and all that. He has top four puck-moving defenseman potential. Also potential to be that big ice time on ice eater, minute eater, whatever you want to call it. He's young and he's got to learn the North American game a little bit more, get better defensively. But I think this kid's got great potential, and I think he stays here. I don't think they use him in a trade. Next up, and he's not a young guy. He's probably the oldest guy I have on here. And this is the reason. I'm going to read why. Joel Edmundson, 28 years old. This is why I think he's going to stay. A quote from him. My dad's going through a tough time right now. Right before we went into the bubble for the playoffs, I found out he's got lung cancer. To be able to share the news that I got traded to Montreal, it's always been his favorite team. It brought me back to when I was growing up at home and in his office. All the walls are painted Canadiens colors. Me going to Montreal, it put him over the top. It's been exciting for us. I think this guy will want to stay through a rebuild for that reason. He's signed for, I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3 more years at good money. He's a good shutdown kind of guy. I think he could be a good veteran to keep here for the younger guys too. And I think for that reason, I think he'd keep him. Even if it's just because it's heartwarming. Next guy, Christian Dvorak. He's 25, and this might be a little controversial because he hasn't performed. He hasn't performed well, but the team is shit. He's coming into a team that's playing like shit. He hasn't shown everything he can do. I'm confident in Christian Dvorak that he'll turn that around as this team goes forward. I think he's got a good contract, $4.45 million for the next, I think, 4 years. But, he's only 25. He's in that age group where you want to keep guys like that. He's a center. I think you want to be strong down the middle. I think he stays. I don't think you redeal him, and I think he'll pay off. I don't think we've seen. I wrote here. I don't think we haven't seen the real Devo yet. The real deal, or Devo. I think he still has offensive upside, and he's got a lot of upside yet here. Next up, another center, Jake Evans, 25 years old. He just signed. I think next season. He's got a 2-year deal, one way, $1.7 million, I think. So it's not expensive. Now, it's a lot of centers. We're going to have a lot of centers to choose from. But you know what? So what? It's great. Strong down the middle. Some of these guys like Palin can play wing. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think this is great. He's a solid bottom 6 guy, maybe middle 6 guy, and can play. He's versatile, can play up and down the lineup. He has done that already. So a bit of a Swiss Army knife type. My only thing with him is the concussion issues. It hasn't cropped up yet this season. But, that's a thing because he's had a few. But I like Evans, and contract's good. I think he stays. Next up, a young defenseman that we picked up this year, Sami Niku. He's only 25. He's a puck-moving defenseman. Not maybe that, a lot of puck movers are a little weak defensively, as most are. And so, he's there, but he can quarterback a power play. He can help the power play. He's a puck mover, as I said. I think he could be a solid third pairing, potential. He's got offensive upside with the power play stuff. Yeah, I think Sami Niku going forward, maybe he doesn't stay long, but in a year you're going into a rebuild. I think you hang on to him. Next up, and you might notice something I said, I don't know if I said it earlier, but the age differences, if you watch the video that I did, the guys that could go, the age differences to the guys that I think could stay, right? Young guys. Next up is Lucas Vedimo, or Vedimo. I like everyone pronounces it differently. Lucas Vedimo, 25 years old, which is older than I thought. So I'm not sure what year he was drafted. I like what I saw of him in the last few games. He scored a couple of goals, at least one anyway. I like the play. I like the energy. Give him a shot. He proved that he has potential to play, well enough, I think, to be here in a rebuild year, at least to start. He's hard worker, energy, like I said, and he contributes to the offense. He can contribute some to the offense. I don't know exactly where he'd play in the lineup, honestly, yet. Probably middle six kind of guy. But yeah, I think he stays. Next, a defenseman they just picked up on waivers, Kale Clague, 23 years old. Kale Clague's puck mover. He can quarterback the power play. I think that's what he's doing right now. He's still young, 23 years old, and he still has potential, a pretty high draft pick, I think. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong on that. But I like what I've seen so far. Not the strongest defensively. Again, you see the pattern there with puck-moving defensemen. But I think moving forward, he's a young guy. He's got potential, and he helps the power play. I think you hang on to him. He's not making a ton of money, obviously, and I think you hang on to him. Next up, this is a guy, I don't know a ton about this guy. They picked him up in the draft last year, Jan Mysak. He was captaining the Czech team in the World Juniors, so this is a good hockey player. He has offensive upside. I wrote here number 2 center potential. I don't know. He's not a big guy. I think he's like 5'10". He's not a really big guy, but he's got good offensive upside. And yeah, I think down the road, he can make this team. So I don't know that you move him out now. I'm not saying he's going to make it next year, but I think you hang on to him. Now we get to 3 guys that are totally unsigned, no ELCs, nothing. But I think this guy here, Jordan Harris, he's in college. I don't know if I got the age right. I didn't look it up when I was doing this, and I should have, but I think I'm right. He's in college. They say he's NHL ready. He's from Massachusetts. I didn't say that very well. Gordon's from the same area. Maybe there's a connection there to get him signed up and get him here. If he is NHL ready, be a great ad for next year. Young guy. I hear great things about him. Jordan Harris. I get the Jordan and Jaden mixed up all the time. And the reason I say that is because Jaden Struble, also not sure if he's 21. I think they're the same year draft. Physical kind of guy. He's a bigger guy. I think he's bigger than Harris. I don't know if he's ready yet. I think he's playing in college as well. But I think he's a guy that you might sign to an ELC and keep him around. I could be wrong on this guy. You guys can let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong on Struble. But I think, that's the kind of guy you might sign and keep him around and see where, or you could include him in a trade, sign him up, and then maybe use him in a trade. I don't know. Next up is a guy that, similar to Raphael Harvey-Pinard, when they drafted him, and I think this was a 4th or 5th round draft pick. I said, this kid's going to be good when I read about him. I didn't know much about him, read about him, and then this is proving out to be accurate. Sean Farrell. He's 19. He is proving to be maybe potentially better than Cole Caufield coming in, what we thought of him. He's got a great shot. He can put up points. He is just he just looks like he's going to be a really good player. The problem is not a big guy. He's 5'10", 5'9" or 5'10". So got a size issue, but the kid looks really good. Go look at his highlights. He looks really good. I think there's great potential there. You got to sign this kid to an ELC and keep him around because, he could really be one of those underrated small guys that turns out to be a superstar. And there are some of them out there. And I think this kid's got all the tools. Can he make it work in the NHL? Don't know. That's my list. These are the guys I think should remain a Hab and will probably remain a Hab. My 3 untouchables in Suzuki, Romanov, and Guhle. Let me know in the comment sections if you agree with me, if you who you would put in there. and who you would take out, kind of thing. And that's it. Stay safe out there, and peace out. And I'll see you next video. And don't forget, check out the video that I did of the guys that I think will be on the trading block. Subscribe and ring that notifications bell. And hey, give a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hey, check out that video over there.